Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, this is Redberry Leo here, and welcome back to another Civil Air Patrol video. In today's video, I'm going to go over the GTM3 F&P Field Sanitation and Hygiene section, so if you haven't checked out some of my other GTM3 F&P videos, feel free to check them out in the iCard, and let's go ahead and get started. I would like to do a Q&A. If you have a question for me, please feel free to leave it in the comments down below. Or you could also DM me on Instagram or on Twitter. So there are four main aspects to the section here that we're talking about. There is like maintaining personal hygiene, like properly while you're out in the field. Disposal of waste is another one. There's proper foot care, and there's also avoiding unpurified water. So let's talk about your feet. So there are several things that you need to keep in mind. So there's the boot aspect of it. So making sure that your boots are properly broken in before you go out and you walk a lot. So if you just bought a brand new pair of boots, I would not recommend going immediately out and on a mission with those boots. Try to break them in, either wear them at home, go on walks with them, like out and about in your neighborhood. You don't have to be in uniform, just wear your boots, wear them to meetings, and like sit down as you need to. Make sure you're taking breaks when you are breaking them in, and you can also put in like inserts, just make sure they're super comfortable. If your boots are not properly broken in, then you could potentially get really, really bad blisters. So that is something that we would like to avoid at all costs, especially like if a blister pops and then it gets infected because it's not taken care of, and that can lead to a whole slew of issues. So just to prevent that, preemptively, break your boots in first. And there's also having socks. So socks is the next component that I want to talk about. Make sure you have extra pairs of dry socks with you. Dry socks prevent fungi from growing on your feet. So like at encampment, for example, you don't wear the same pair of socks for 8 hours in a day. You'll wear your socks during PT, and you will wear a different pair of socks while you're wearing your utility uniform for a couple hours, but not like the entire day. And you'll also change again after showering and everything. So that's like the process of changing your socks throughout the day. When you're out in the field, make sure you also have like 2 or 3 extra pairs of socks, just so that you can change them if your boots get wet or something. Because having wet socks is like the worst thing you can do for your feet. It is a terrible thing. And like your feet need to breathe in a nice cool environment. So you can also use foot powder. Foot powder is a good thing to use to just kind of keep your feet dry. If you also have stockings or like knee highs, you can put those underneath your socks and then have your boots on top of the sock, and that can also help prevent blisters because it reduces the amount of friction of like the boot and the sock moving around your foot. And then if you just so happen to get blisters, use moleskin properly, like get a little donut, put a little donut, and then like have the moleskin around it. Don't put moleskin directly onto it, please, because that's going to add an extra layer, and it's going to like be pushed on. And so like the point of moleskin is to prevent the blister from getting like really pressed down on, and that would like result in it potentially getting popped. You don't want to pop blisters, so please let's avoid that as much as we can. Okay, so then the next point that they talk about is making sure you don't drink unpurified water. That's a big one. There can be a lot of bacteria in the water, and there can be little critters and everything too, like bugs and other things that you probably wouldn't want to drink. So really, you should be drinking from purified water, and make sure it's also potable water. So like sometimes when we go to training, there might be like a campsite area, and they'll have like a little spigot outside and it says not potable. That means you are really not supposed to drink it because it is from water in the ground, and well, animals do stuff in the woods. They leave their stuff behind and everything, and that water is not like purified in any way. And there are techniques to purify water. I'm not going to go into the specifics of them in this video, but make sure you are drinking purified water and have like backup water sources with you when you're going out and about. Like, don't just have a single liter bottle with you and then that's your only water for a mission. Like, you should have much more than that. And like your Camelback, if you have a Camelback, should be full, and then additional water if you can. It shouldn't be the only thing you bring, but you should really make sure you bring water and extra water, just so that you can maintain proper hydration. And if the location that you are doing your missions from has a location to fill water, make sure you refill every time you go out. Every single time. Just because you may not be drinking as much, like if you get caught up somewhere in the wilderness, making sure that you have enough water is like one of the most important things, because you need water first before you need food. So make sure you got water with you, please. Okay, so let's talk about waste disposal. So whenever you can, you really should use like a porta potty or a bathroom that might be near the facility. If there is not one available, you can dig a hole. It should be a foot deep, and it should be at least 100 yards away from wherever your site is that you are, and it should be downhill to prevent drainage. So you should not be on the top of the hill doing your thing and then have it drain off into your area, because that just that is not sanitary. So let's not do that. When you are done doing your thing, we just fill in that hole and you should be good to go. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna say about that. So in terms of garbage should be thrown away at designated trash cans. And like, I know in some states you need to put them into like bear-proofed trash cans, because bears will literally go through the trash. And if you have like food out, then they will get into it. Like if it's in your tent, that would not end well. So like, try to keep them in cars, like keep them sealed up if you ever have anything that animals might want to get into. And then when you are cooking, make sure you sanitize your gear after use. And you should really use hot water and soap. Some people use bleach, like a bleach solution. That's a little bit more dangerous. So just make sure you use hot water and soap when you are cleaning your dishes after use, and if you're reusing them. So for the personal hygiene section, they say to brush your teeth, and preferably after every meal. And like, if you eat 3 meals in the day, you're brushing your teeth 3 times. So I personally do it twice. They say at least do it once, up to you, but honestly, I suggest doing it at the beginning of the day and then at the end of the day. You just have it like after breakfast and after dinner. And then the last 2 things, the first one is whenever there's water available, you really should wash your hands after you use the restroom. And then the other one, it's not listed on here, but you should wear deodorant. Please wear deodorant, because you will get stinky. And it's recommended that you do not get deodorant that is going to melt while it's with you, if you can. If you can't, then, or if you can't find any, then that's okay. But I know that like sometimes they have those like gel sticks, and those melt a little bit faster than like the more solid stuff. So if you have like, I personally keep a backup deodorant in my backpack, just so like if I'm stuck outside, then at least I will not be overly sweaty, because like deodorant is antiperspirant, and like if you get all sweaty in the armpits, then at least like deodorant is counteracting that, and you're not just drenched as much. So that was everything for the personal hygiene section. If you got any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and that is all, folks. Until next time, doodles.